everyone, and welcome to the Flophouse. I'm Dan McCoy.
I'm Stuart Wellington.
They call me Elliot Kalin out on the wasteland.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Cool.
interesting.
Do you have is there any other element to it, or is it just Elliot Kalin? Is it Elliot the Killer Kalin? Is it
I'm glad you're
Elliot
asking.
Cannibal
Nope.
Kalin?
Nope, just Elliot Kalin. Yeah, I mean, out in the post-apocalyptic, blasted, nuclear, desolate wasteland that is the future world. They just call me Elliot Kalin.
Wow, we are introducing a very dramatic element that's not going to be addressed throughout the rest of the mini.
Oh,
Whoa.
yeah, I
This
call
is-
that Garfield, Dan. When you introduce an element at the beginning and it's not addressed in the rest of the mini.
It linked. All right. Hey, guess what? I'm in
What?
charge again.
Oh,
so
man.
buckle up.
Uh-oh.
Hey, everyone.
Somebody lost a bet.
Mm-hmm.
Humanity.
Over at a little show, another podcast called 99% Invisible.
Never
Uh-huh.
heard of it.
Elliot Kalin has been hosting a book club for The Power Broker by Robert
Oh, that's what I
Caro.
meant. That's where they call me Elliot Kalin. Is over at the 99%
Was
Yeah.
there
podcast.
was there ever a moment when they were thinking about just calling it 1% Visible?
Well, you've leapt ahead to part of my thing. So
Stuart, I
Great
love
minds.
it.
I can't help
You love it when you see
we'll
it.
get there. We'll get there. But maybe that's a sign to let some more of this intro proceed unimpeded.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
of
when do
course-
we do that? Never, but let's try it.
Yeah. So The Power Broker, of course, a terrific book, one of the great works of biography, of history, also a very long book, one that sort of became a status symbol during COVID. There are a lot of articles and stuff about Zoom calls, people prominently displaying the Power Broker behind them.
Dan could also be describing Johnny Tremaine if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not that long a book, though, Johnny Tremaine. Or
But it is a biography.
it's not a biography. I mean, it's kind of history. It's historical fiction. It's a novel,
Yeah. So that's the Power Broker,
and
of
they
course.
should call that book Johnny Deformed.
Just a Simpsons joke here.
Oh,
Interrupt
wow,
me
that's the
just to
Troma
steal
version.
other jokes.
Simpsons callback.
A callback? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, we're the
To-
Simpsons, right?
Yeah. The 99% Invisible Power Broker series, of course, has been listed in some best of podcast lists recently.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought
Guilty as charged.
we got a draft on a little of that action over here. We've had an Elliot Kalin on our show for years.
Mhm.
What has it gotten you? Nothing.
Exactly. And so, in our position as Goofus to 99% Invisible's Gallant, they cover the 99%. As Stuart said, this is going to be our 1% Visible podcast.
Nice.
The Bizarro World Power Broker episode, because the Power Broker is about a very long, very smart book. I went through my collection to find a short, dumb book, one of the shortest, dumbest books I have on the bookshelf. And what I came up with is this book. It's called, I'm putting it up for the camera, so we'll probably
It
cut
says
this out.
Dinosaur Joke Book.
It's called
Huh.
Dinosaur Joke Book.
Yes. Alex, take a screenshot of this.
Yeah. And then mail it to yourself with a picture of today's date.
Yep.
Picture of today's date?
Yep.
Yeah,
Anyway.
picture of today's
We got
date.
your joke book.
We have your
Give
joke
us
book.
$10
We're gonna
million.
send you a page
Sorry.
a day
We-
to give us
yeah.
the money.
But we
Um,
won't give you the punchline, just the joke, and it'll drive you mad.
That's called
So-
a setup.
Oh, that's why it's called a setup.
A little background about this book, for this
Is
this
that
audio-
necessary?
this audio book club series of one, in which we will explore the Dinosaur Joke Book.
This is the Flophouse
This is,
Breakdown Dinosaur Joke
Dan's
Book.
like, it was a purchase. I only read it so I could get a little pizza sticker on my pizza cover.
Actually, this was given to me one Christmas by my brother John McCoy, who I think gave it to me because he also found it dumb. So it's by Sam Berman, who I assume did both the text and illustrations. I mean, I said did the text. You'll see a lot of these are street jokes, but he's the only listed author.
Yeah, but you want kids to learn them from a book, not out on the
Yeah.
street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Published by Grosset and Dunlap in 1969. We're going to have as I said, we're going to have a little book club. We've got 2 Emmy-winning comedy writers. We got a bartender here who I assume has
Yep.
heard a lot of jokes in his day.
And told
And
a
of
lot of
course-
jokes, yeah.
Mhm.
Elliot's a dinosaur expert, so as we discuss, You know, I thought we could evaluate with an
We're
eye
glossing
towards
over another dinosaur expert, but that's fine.
I think Stuart proved when we were in Oxford that he doesn't know dingus about dinosaurs. So.
yeah, he
Whoa,
did
Elliot, calm down.
he did
Okay,
he did a presentation
I don't want to get this podcast rated X.
entirely built to troll Elliot about with his bad
Yeah,
dino
about my love of dinosaurs.
info.
But it's
Anyway,
amazing to think that as man was landing on the moon, Sam Berman was accumulating these dinosaur jokes for
Mhm.
publication.
Mm-hmm.
you know, but I thought we could discuss because of our assembled talents. We could discuss these with an eye towards comedy,
Mhm.
dinosaur accuracy, historical significance, and how maybe the art enhances our experience of the joke, so forth. These sorts of elements.
That'll be perfect for this audio medium.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, we can describe it. We'll paint a word picture.
We'll have to use
What are-
1,000
Dan's
words, Dan.
pretty
That's
good
the
at
going rate
describing
for a
jokes.
picture.
Yeah, well, that's that's what the inflation rate goes to, or the exchange rate goes to us as writers versus artists. That's
Yeah.
what makes us. So we won't be, of course, reading all of this book out of copyright reasons, and of
No.
course, respect
Yeah.
for the late Sam Berman, who Elliot, you'd be interested in his prolific career as an illustrator. He designed the titles for Nothing Sacred and
Oh,
many
cool.
other movies
Oh,
of
so
the
he
30s.
goes back. So he was well into his career when he did this dinosaur joke book.
He co-created Esky, the mascot for Esquire magazine. A lot of
I didn't know they had one.
sounds in
Yeah,
there.
what's it look like, Dan?
It looks kind of like a
Like a little alien.
It looks kind of like the Pringles guy, like an early version of
Oh,
the
yeah,
Pringles
yeah.
guy
Oh,
with more
okay.
like bug-eyed eyes.
That's what I think when I think of Esquire
Yeah.
magazine is the Italian immigrant experience immortalized on the Pringles can. Yeah.
He also, some of his other book work includes Pixie Pete's Christmas Party
Oh, sure.
and illustrations for something called Sullivan Bites News, Perverse News Items, which
Real
I
quick,
think.
I want to go tug at a thread here. So the Pringles can, that guy's Italian? What's the deal there?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, that was news to me as
I mean,
well.
he always
but
looks Italian to me. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
there's
I don't
no
know
more
if
Italian
canonically-
food than a
I don't
than a
potato chips.
potato chip.
I don't know if he is canonically Italian. Maybe that's me being a little racist. But when I see a big handlebar mustache on a
Yeah, Mario
on a-
taught you. That
yeah
that
on a
means
cartoon
Italian.
figure, I assume they're Italian. Yeah.
I just kind of looked at that as like high class,
Well, let's
You
take
know,
a look
like
at
Monopoly-
this website. The
Monopoly,
complete history of
Rich
the
Uncle
Pringles logo.
penny
Let's
bag
see.
style mustache.
Sure, yeah.
That's possible too. So you're saying that they're saying potato chips are the snack of millionaires.
They're the food. They're the food of the ruling class. Have you found anything about the Pringles? I realized I had stopped
Let's
talking
see.
because I was waiting with bated breath for your Pringles
I'm
report.
looking at this article now, which covers the history of Pringles. No mention of Gene Wolfe, the inventor of the machine that made the Pringles, as well as author, of course, of the
Wait,
of the
really?
Book of the New Sun. Yeah.
So wait, so all his books are in first person. When he invented that, was that also in first person?
I think anything he did in his life, I believe, was in first person.
Yeah.
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 It's pretty cool.
It's mentioning a television commercial with Brad Pitt in the 80s, but where is the? I'm not seeing much about
look
the
at
meaning
just
of the
Google
logo.
Pringles guy ethnicity.
Yeah. Google
Oh, look it up.
Pringles guy feet. See if that
Yeah, Pringles
comes up
guy.
with anything
Pringles
for you.
I mean, that's
guy.
going to answer a lot of questions.
Nationality, let's say. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Pringles guy nationality. The
Uh-huh.
history behind the mascot. Okay, this is a different article.
Well, I think
says
that we'll
the
have to
mascot has-
backburner this for.
It has a
Okay.
name. Hold on.
Yep.
Let's see. Guys, Dan, you just start. I'll do a little bit more research on this. I'll pretend I'm
because
listening
I
to
feel
you.
like at this point, you make fun of me for Garfield, but this has now become officially a Pringles cast. But I do want to say, because I called this a dumb book, the jokes are dumb. They do have some lovely illustrations by this longtime illustrator. So, I don't know, look it up in your local library if you want to.
Oh, the mustache
dinosaur.
is meant to imitate or approximate the shape of the Pringle. His name is Julius Pringle.
That
or Julius
is
Pringles. Oh, okay.
Madness. I would
Wait,
not.
his last name is Pringles?
That's according to this article, yes. I mean,
Okay.
we have to
I
check our
don't
sources on this. But
look at that
I guess that
mustache and
makes-
think those look like two potato chips. But I guess that's why I'm not a brilliant graphic designer, because I can't make these connections.
I'm still not seeing a backstory for Julius Pringles, though. So,
Okay.
readers, if you have any information about it,
Elliot,
write in.
do Pringles guy deviant art. Google that.
Okay, I don't know about Dan. You go keep reading. I'm gonna just keep doing your thing. I'm gonna read another article about this.
Oh God. Yeah, that's what I want. An unengaged co-host.
I mean, he's pretty engaged with his computer right now.
Yeah, he seems.
Finally,
really
this article
love-
at least mentions, and engineer Gene Wolfe created the machine used for making the chips.
Finally.
Yeah,
Thank God. He was going to be robbed of his place in history. By...
Oh, it's possible that Julius Pringles is not actually his real name. Might be a hoax.
Do you think Gene Wolfe
Fucking-
wrote like a loving backstory for Julius Pringles?
My guess is that when he was describing the Pringle machine to somebody, he was using such elaborate, antiquated language that they just said, "Build it yourself. We don't know how to do this. We can't understand."
So 1% visible. The first joke here.
Okay.
We've got a dino talking to a young boy sitting on his back. Right away, I see Elliot furrowing his brow.
I mean, right off the bat, that's your number one factual inaccuracy about dinosaurs is that they ever encountered human beings at all, or vice versa.
Separated by tens of billions of years. But anyway.
But I
What
guess
kind of dinosaur is it?
If they have two brains, they could
well, I'll show
figure
you
out.
the-
what
They don't have
human
two
language.
brains, Stuart. They also don't have two brains. Yeah.
I'll show you the illustration in a moment once I'm done describing it. So this dino is talking to this boy on his back. The dino says, "I'm glad they named me Maxwell." The boy says, "Why are you glad, Maxwell?" And the dino says, "Because that's what everyone calls me." So this, I think,
That's a good
introduces
I like that joke.
it introduces an interesting philosophical question about the nature of names. Whether a name makes someone or so here you see
So it's a sauropod of some kind, a small sauropod, a Camarasaurus.
Yeah,
or
a
something
pretty
like that.
lumpy one,
like a
too.
baby Secret of the Lost Legend right there.
Yes, very
And-
much a baby Secret of the Lost Legend. Yeah,
This
a
is
little
kind of
foot. Yeah,
two-tone printing style. You've got black and kind of
very
a
60s. Yeah,
Littlefoot is one of those
Orange.
long necks, right? That's
Yes,
the
Littlefoot is a
scientific
long
name.
neck. yeah. They love portmanteau compound words. I guess they're not even portmanteaus; they're just compound
So,
words. Now, that's,
Elliot,
that's
as a dino expert, how accurate is that this dinosaur would be named Maxwell?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
as
pretty
far
good.
as I know, dinosaurs being animals do not have names.
Mm.
They may have been maybe identified by their scent more than anything else. We have given them species names, but it is only man, as far as we know, among all the animals that feels the need to label and thus possess the things around him. To everything else, all other animals and organisms, it seems what is merely is what is and does not need a word to make it real, but in fact, simply is reality. Dan?
Yeah, no,
That's-
I mean
that's
I think you
quality joke book
went
notation.
straight to the heart of what makes this joke so profound. Let's move on to
Okay.
another joke. Not that I think we've exhausted the rich text that is.
No, I
this-
feel like there's a lot more to say about Maxwell and his. Well, I mean, what it is, that joke. To say about the joke, it's working in a rich vein of tradition, which is confusing what a name is for and the idea of a name and an item that you see in the work of Lewis Carroll in Through the Looking Glass, when the White Knight is talking about the song that he sings, and he's saying the name is called this, but the name is
wow.
this.
This brings up an interesting point, which is that Elliot, have you written this book? Is it completed, or are you still in the course of writing a book about jokes?
Oh, you're talking about my book, Joke Farming?
Yes.
Which will someday come out from the University of Chicago Press. I have written it. It is in the
Okay.
peer review process right now because it's an academic text. I'm
Right.
hoping to get those notes back this summer because I'd like the book to be published next year. So,
That must be
Flophouse
really
fans, keep
tough
a
for
lookout
you.
for Joke Farming. It's my book about joke writing from the
It must
University
be
of Chicago
tough for
Press.
you for people to try and find peers for you because you were so funny, Elliot.
Thank
Oh, I
you.
thought you
I'm
said you were
peerless.
fearless. Yeah.
Yeah.
Outstanding in your field.
Yeah, I can never be found guilty in joke court because they can't find 12 peers
Impossible.
that deserve to judge me.
Now, do you think one of these notes is going to be that there's not enough about the dinosaur joke book and the jokes found within?
Probably, yeah. I think probably the fact that I was not aware of this joke book till now means I have to have to tear up the book and rewrite from scratch. Now that I found this new cavalcade of humor.
Now, Elliot, you're going to have to help me with this next word.
Mm-hmm.
Is this Trachodon?
Let me see it.
It's hold on. It's a very large book, so I have to.
Yeah,
Wrangle
it's
around
huge.
It's
my-
a
It's
weighty
just like
tome.
Power
It's a
Broker.
grimoire. Yeah, Trachodon. Yeah,
Okay. So,
I saw the setup was how do you keep a Trachodon from smelling?
Yes.
I
And
assume
you
the
have-
punchline is something about cutting off his nose.
You have a dino. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We have a dino looking down quizzically at again cavemen who would not be alive, a mom talking to the son. It looks like it's hard to say who's speaking, whether it's the son or the mom. They both have their mouths open. There's another dinosaur at the side who looks like sort of a dog dinosaur in the Flintstones vein.
Yeah.
Is that the Trachodon? So what's its skull look like? Because the Trachodon is a duck-billed dinosaur.
Yeah,
these are duck-billed dinosaurs. I think they're actually meant to be the same dinosaur, but they look very different, the one at the top and the bottom. But
well, I'm guessing one might be older or larger. One looks like it has a flat top.
Male or female.
Maybe one got plastic surgery.
Differences.
Mm-hmm. One of them committed a lot of crimes, and the only way they could hide out, like Parker, is by paying for a black market plastic surgeon to change your face. However,
of
course, that doesn't work out perfectly for Parker.
That black market plastic surgeon.
He ends up having to kill more people.
Look up
exactly
any number of. You could watch Point Blank, Payback. I think there's other versions of the same.
Yeah, that's some early Parker stuff. We're talking later Parker.
Oh, later Parker.
There's that. What's the name of the? Why am I forgetting it? The Dark Passage in that movie. It's the same basic thing. The guy gets his face changed, and he's Humphrey Bogart, which is not a surprise because you've heard Humphrey Bogart's voice narrating the movie up till that point. But yeah.
Well,
so
speaking of Parker,
so you're saying, how is the Parker books be different, Stuart, if he was a Trachodon instead of a human being?
That'd actually be really interesting because I don't think a Trachodon is a career criminal.
No, that's true. There is that one book where there's a velociraptor who puts on a human suit and solves crimes. He's somehow survived till now.
True. That is a really cool Parker book. I like that one. Because Parker finally meets his match. Normally, he's a little bit too tough and cool. But finally, when he meets this velociraptor hiding in a human suit.
Yeah.
Go on.
And speaking of Parker, I'm surprised you two aren't nosy Parkers to find out the nose-based comedy.
Let's find out,
punchline here. How do you keep a Trachodon from smelling? Yes, Elliot, you got it. Try cutting off his nose. And there's a kind of
they don't do it, do they?
Graphic picture, not graphic of the violence of the nose, but you see the aftermath of the bandaged.
Yeah, horrible.
Bandaged face.
To be honest, this is pretty similar to the Parker story.
Exactly. Yeah. It's very noir type, like something that out of a Brian Azzarello comic.
Seems
very much
cruel of these primitive men that they're cutting off the nose to keep it from smelling, not to eat or provide shelter or any of the basic needs of
the dinosaur's
humans.
nose is only so big. I don't think you could make a shelter
I don't know.
out of it.
Yeah, but if you get a bunch of them, they'd be like shingles.
That's true.
I'm just saying that this seems to be an act of pure spite on the the Neanderthal.
Which is usually why you cut off noses, right? For spite.
Yeah, well, to spite faces, certainly. Your own or others.
Now, I know I said Neanderthal there, and that's probably incorrect. But, we're living in a world where dinos and humans live together. So,
Neanderthals and humans lived side by side and modern humans for many years, many thousands of years. And so if one of them is going to meet dinosaurs, probably they're going to say, "Hey, buddy, come along and meet this dinosaur with me."
Yeah, what is it like?
No, I just didn't know whether scientifically that's the same as what we would colloquially call a caveman, which is, the Flintstone-style caveman we see here.
Well, I'd probably not. Your Flintstone-style cavemen are probably early Homo sapiens, but they would have lived side by side with, traded with, and had sex with the living Neanderthals at the time. They were, there were other, and they're Denisovans. There are other species of humans that existed at the same time, and maybe they're around. I don't know.
And sometimes they have a club that has gadgets inside it, and their entire body's covered in fur.
Yeah, that's what we call the Homo captainus cavemanus. Yeah.
Do you have this kind of discussion, Roman Mars? I don't think so. So
that's true. While
I'd
I'm
love
Roman
to
Mars,
learn
my
about the
discussions
design
are
of Captain Caveman.
While I'm Roman Mars, my discussions we got to get back to the Mars base. We're running out of oxygen and food.
Yeah. See, we're like the missing piece. 99% Invisible is not complete without the tomfoolery that we can provide with our.
Roman might disagree, sure, but yeah.
Here we go. This one. So here we have a primitive cave artist.
Sure.
Who is painting on the wall.
That's what they did. Very accurate.
And painting a big orange dinosaur with a bunch of human figures around it in black. And I'm not sure who's asking
just like
this.
The hit Caveman song.
A small child and a small dinosaur stand before this artist. And I'll show you the picture. Hold on. This is for this is story time for people here, and then it's
No, it looks really good.
Wait, I couldn't quite see it. Dan, can you put it up again? I couldn't quite see it.
Yeah. Sorry.
So this is another. Oh, he's painting a sauropod. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks embarrassed, like, "Uh-oh, you caught me."
Yeah, and he asks, which has more legs, a dinosaur or no dinosaur? Which has more legs, a dinosaur or
There's
no
going to be
dinosaur?
some kind of trick in here.
Yeah. There might be some sort
Does
of
no mean
wordplay or
like New Orleans
tomfoolery.
dinosaur?
What?
Nothing. It's a joke
Yeah,
exclusively
New Orleans
for my
dinosaur.
wife.
Yeah, because it's in the Mardi Gras parade.
Mhm. Well, I'll just answer this question for you because I can see you're stumped. It says,
We're stumped.
no dinosaur. No dinosaur has 8 legs. A dinosaur has 4.
What the fuck?
This kid,
Because
yeah,
there
this
is no
kid.
dinosaur that has 8 legs. But a dinosaur does have 4 legs.
I think it
Yeah.
just
I
gave
know
me
that
a headache,
my
guys.
delivery confused the matter before, but the point
This
is
is
that,
why it's best experienced as text.
yeah. This has so delighted the tiny little dinosaur that it has collapsed to the floor in gales of laughter, and I'll
Mhm.
show you that charming illustration.
Presumably, it's happy that it's not getting its legs chopped off or something.
Yeah. Since it knows that it's with these brutal savages, these human beings that are just chopping parts off of dinosaurs.
Mhm.
But what I like is that joke. Do all the jokes justify 2 pages? Do they all get 2 pages, Dan?
There's a lot of one-pagers,
But
but
that one, Berman was like, "This is a 2-pager. This joke is going to be so funny that it justifies taking up 2 pages."
now that's an editorial decision you have to make about the element of surprise when it comes to the joke. Is it better served in a big gulp, or do you want to have that pregnant pause in between? We have to turn the page.
Yeah,
And
let me-
usually we
let-
serve like a sugary drink in a big gulp and a lot of it.
I was gonna break it down in terms that Elliot understands. So it's like as if you open up the book Monster at the end of this book,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
it was just like it's Grover.
That's a good
It's not
point.
going to be funny.
It's
You
a
got to
good
read the whole
Right.
thing.
It would
before
We
defeat
you
the
explain
do that.
purpose
this
of
now,
the
but that's
book.
because we have years of history with the book Monster at the end of this book.
Yeah,
But it would confuse and dismay anyone who bought it.
because you'd be
if it
like,
was
"What
just-
else is? How many more pages are they're just blank? Can I write on them? No.
Yeah, and then,
Am I
and
supposed
then
to make
Grover's
my
at the
own
Coated
end.
book
with
now?
a clear coat to keep my pen from making marks.
Yeah, at the end, Grover's just like, as promised.
I'm back.
Yeah.
What I read about that book, the monster at the end of this book is a brilliantly designed book. And what I read was that it was supposed to teach kids how to read and finish a book. So it's literally about the mechanics of turning pages and how turning one leads you to the next until you get to the end of the book.
Wow.
It's such a brilliantly put together book.
Yeah, and Grover, he loses his shit, right?
He does.
He
He
doesn't
is
want you
so
to keep turning these pages.
And
He
there's
is
another
so
one that he
scared.
does. There's another one he does with Elmo too. And he has not learned his lesson. He continues to be just like so hysterically panicked about getting to the end of the book.
Guys, you ever read this? There's this other Grover book about like the Museum of Everything or something
Yeah,
like that.
I like that one too. That's another
That
good
one's
one.
pretty good.
Yeah.
What's the deal there? Is
not as well known.
Is he the monster at the end of the
Well,
No,
it's
museum?
he's going through this museum, and it's different rooms with different like things you would look up at, things that are small, and then finally he's like, "But I have not yet seen everything." And it ends with a door that just leads to the outside world and just says everything. Here's everything. And I think that there's something very kind of beautiful about that.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
the world but a museum of everything? You know,
Mm-hmm. No, that's a good
uncategorized, very poorly
Couple
curated.
of
Mhm.
very philosophical sort of punchlines from
Is-
Grover.
Coolly designed.
Is it a Borges story where there's an emperor who has a collection of every animal on Earth and he keeps it on the Earth scattered throughout the world, but he considers it his collection?
Look, I know that it's at heart it's because we didn't grow up with him,
Borges?
but no, I'm going to go back to Grover.
Oh,
But the reason, I think one of the big reasons people of my generation don't like Elmo is that we're like, we had a perfectly good Grover.
yeah,
Grover was great.
we did.
And then
yeah.
Elmo came and did this all about Eve, like shoved
We don't
him
need this
down the
shrill
stairs.
little kid Grover. That was the original song that my generation song. talking about my generation. People think we need an Elmo, talking about my generation.
Yeah.
We think Grover was just fine, talking about my generation.
You were right.
Younger
Elliot
kids think
does like to
they're
sing.
Elmo,
Yeah, he
talking
does.
about
I
my
thought he hated it.
generation. But Grover, I consider him mine, talking about my generation. That's a real song.
Yeah,
My Groveration.
Great.
My Groveration.
Hello, sleepyheads. Sleeping with Celebrities is your podcast pillow pal. We talk to remarkable people about unremarkable topics, all to help you slow down your brain and drift off to sleep. For instance, the remarkable actor Alan Tudyk.
You hand somebody a yardstick after they've shopped at your general store. The store's name is constantly in your heart because yardsticks become part of the family.
Sleeping with Celebrities, hosted by me, John Moe, on MaximumFun.org or wherever you get your podcasts. Night-night.
The following are real reenactments of pretend emergency calls.
911. My husband! It's my husband! Calm down, please. What about your husband? He loads the dishwasher wrong. Please help! Please help me! Where are you now, ma'am? At the kitchen table. I was with my dad. He mispronounces words intentionally.
There are plenty of podcasts on the hunt for justice, but only one podcast has the courage to take on the silly crimes. Judge John Hodgman, the only true crime podcast that won't leave you feeling sad and bad and scared for once. Only on MaximumFun.org.
Hey there, dedicated Flophouse listeners. By now, you've probably heard about our next streaming show, 3 Men and a Hallie. Look, I'm sorry we hit these things so hard, but it's only because we're proud of them. I think we put together a great live show, and we love the way the people at Stage Pilot make these things look. So we hope that you might join us to watch it. What is it? If you haven't heard about it already, well, we did a live show. We talked about 3 Men and a Baby. Hallie Hagland was there. It was great. We had a team of dedicated professional cameramen, editors, lighters put this together. It looks cool. And you can watch it with us Sunday, August 4th. That's the live sort of event part of it. But also, if you don't see it then, if you get a ticket, you can watch it for 2 weeks thereafter, as many times as you might like. So, like I said, we talked about 3 Men and a Baby. Elliot did a presentation about shitty 80s men. Stuart talked about Turtles for some reason. I did possible reboots of 3 Men as a presentation. All of those are on there. Usually when you see a show, or listen to a show, in the feed, you don't get those presentations. But here, you get to see the live PowerPoints that are honestly kind of my favorite part of the show. Go over to flophousepodcast.com/events, and that'll take you to the ticket link where if you're interested to get VIP tickets, that gets you chat with us one-on-one. You also get a limited print that is signed and numbered by me because I drew it. If you are able to watch on August 4th, we're going to be in the chat. That's the advantage of watching it at the debut time is we're in the chat, watching along, responding to people, remembering what we said in real time because it's been a year or since we did this show. But again, there's a viewing window if you can't catch it then. So that's been a longer than I intended reminder about 3 Men and a Hallie, but I hope you can go over to flophousepodcast.com/events and get your tickets there. And while you're at flophousepodcast.com, why not sign up for our newsletter? There's a field on the front page where you can just drop your email in there. And then every couple of weeks before the regular full-length shows, you'll get a newsletter written by me. It's got stuff like this that you may miss otherwise, but it's also got essays, funny things, stuff that makes it worth subscribing beyond just keeping up on Flophouse news. So we hope you can do both or either. Anyway, back to this very silly mini. Hey, this one... Again, it's two humans talking to each other. One of them appears to have just invented the wheel, or perhaps the wheel has been extant for a while, but he has one.
He went to the store and bought a wheel.
Yeah, in the distance, a brontosaurus looks on, or I guess it's a brachiosaurus because this refers to a brachiosaurus, and it says,
Use the clues, yeah.
Well, I hadn't moved on. How would you run over a brachiosaurus? And again,
what's up there on the cliff with him? Is it a guy holding a saber?
How do you?
What's going on there?
It's got he's got like a wheel and like a long stick. Maybe that's the axle for the wheel. Now the Brachiosaurus, I'm curious. It's in silhouette in the background, so it's hard to see. Brachiosaurus has a very specific build. Its name means long arm lizard because its front legs are longer than its back legs.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Kind of like me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like a gorilla or a Stewart.
Yeah,
it's got that bump on its forehead, on its head. So
kind of like me.
Yeah, So I don't. Yeah, it's hard to say. It's in the distance. His legs are kind of, or hers, kind of obscured.
Good catch. Yeah.
By
let's not assume this Brachiosaurus
ridge.
is binary, Dan. Let's just say they're legs.
Yeah, no, the Brachiosaurus. So the answer, and this is a 3-pager.
Jesus.
Wow.
We need 3 pages to finish this.
Brachiosaurus is a big dinosaur.
To refresh everyone's memory, the setup was, how would you run over a Brachiosaurus? And the answer is, I'd start at his tail, run up his back, then his neck, and jump off his head. And so I think that the wheel is
more good advice. Yeah.
Yeah, the wheel I think is meant as a misdirect to suggest like run over as in like a car. But again, back in dinosaur times, I don't think that would be what we would presume. So instead, of course, we have this illustration of this child running off of the Brachiosaurus, kind of doing a reverse Fred Flintstone.
It's a pretty delightful drawing, but I think it's a pretty poor joke.
Yeah. How is it as a representation of the Brachiosaurus? Because we talked about this.
It's not great. It's the tail, I think, is too long. The head is not quite right, but the front legs are longer than the back legs. But it's kind of sitting down, so it's kind of hard to tell.
I do like how the joke plays on our modern sensibilities that all means of conveyance are cars.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true. It reminds me of... Yeah. Oh, Dan, what were you going to say?
Well, so I don't know whether you guys have been sharp enough to catch this yet, but most of these jokes don't require dinosaurs.
No, I was thinking that. Yeah, these are. It feels like they are oldies with dinosaurs shoved into them. You know,
it's the fucking spoonful of sugar, right? To get.
I mean, Elliot, you got to admit to yourself, you saw that there was a dinosaur joke book when you were a kid.
For sure. Finally, someone had made dinosaurs the ultimate serious topic funny.
Combined your...
Yeah. Well, it was like when I was like, Elliot, you should really watch The Irishman. I think you'd really get a lot out of it. And you're like, I don't know. It seems like a lot of movie. I'm like, there's dinosaurs in it now. And you're like,
I'll watch it. And I'd be so mad as I watch it going, when are the dinosaurs going to show up? I'm 2 hours and 33 minutes in. There's no dinosaurs yet. And I go, oh, Stuart meant that the elderly people are the dinosaurs in it. I see now.
You got it. And the special effects are kind of like dinosaur special effects.
Yeah. He meant the old-fashioned rules of mob violence that they live by is truly the dinosaur.
That's exactly what I meant. I'm so glad you picked up on that. That's why we're friends.
That was very, very poetic of you. Dan, I'll mention that there is a better and funnier treatment of the idea of caveman car crashes, which is in one of the 2,000-Year-Old Man albums. He talks about being run over by a dinosaur, I think, or run over by, I forgot what it is. No, run over by a man on a saber-toothed tiger or something like that. And he goes, but I didn't have insurance. He didn't have insurance. It was 2,000 years ago. We didn't know. Nobody had these things. It's really a setup for the insurance part. Yeah.
Yeah. It is astounding.
Or maybe he was run over by 4 men carrying a log. I don't remember exactly what it is, but.
It is a tribute to the specific performance and wording skills of those men that they could make that premise work so well for so long.
Oh yeah, it's
where
wonderful.
It is essentially just like a guy talking about old stuff, sort of with the context of like with the affect of just like a dude,
Well, specifically of an old Jewish man.
Yeah.
But we did those jokes still work. Recently, my family went to a weekend of family camp with our Cub Scout troop. My son's
I was worried you were about to say weekend at Bernie's, and I'm like, that is not a family-friendly trip.
We went to weekend at Bernie's.
Especially not the second one with all that like reanimated.
They made a second
stuff.
one.
Well,
yeah,
God,
weekend at Bernie's too. The one where he dances. Yeah. There was a night where the campers were putting on skits. And they were like, so if any adults can put on skits, and I'm like, you bet I do. And so I edited together a script from different 2,000-year-old man bits, and my wife played Carl Reiner and I played Mel Brooks, and the jokes went over very well. I was just copying Mel Brooks' delivery. I didn't add my own spin on it, but the jokes went over very well with the kids, and you could tell none of them had heard any of this. They were not familiar with it, and it was like I hope I made some young comedians that night.
So between this and
Probably,
the Simpsons thing, I guess Elliot's just a plagiarist.
That's fine.
That's the way he.
Yeah, because all the jokes in the Dinosaur Joke Book are original.
Yeah.
So speaking of the lack of dinosaurs, this joke has no dinos at all. It's a guy in sort of a toga, a barber figure. With what I guess these are stone scissors because they're kind of blocky, and a stone barber pole because it's kind of.
I mean, you can make pretty
kilter.
Sharp stone weapons.
I mean, they would use it. They were making cutting implements out of stone for thousands and thousands of years.
But
hand axes.
I don't know if these sort of shears would be made out of stone, but I get your point. So this is.
If you carved a statue of Rhonda Shear, that would be a shear made of stone.
He's got you there, Dan. Can you apologize to Elliot?
Take me away, coppers.
I will accept that apology in writing, though, later if you want.
This is fully just turned into BC at this point. So the barber says to the kid.
So it's super Christian?
Yeah.
What is up
early
with that,
BC.
right?
early BC when it was funny, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The barber says, your hair needs cutting badly, Sonny. And the kid says, no, it needs cutting nicely. It was cut badly last time.
Boom.
Yeah. Nope.
It's out of tradition. Let's
see what it looks like.
Here's the picture.
Nope.
Yeah. Can you hold it up slightly?
Up?
Yeah.
Okay.
It does have the barber pole stripes on the stone. Yeah. Kids parse the darndest things.
Mm-hmm. That was what the Alan Parsons Project was about.
Really? Parsing.
So again, a wordplay joke.
Yep.
As the father of two young boys, I would imagine this is right up their alley, that kind of a joke.
Incredibly so. They love to take a commonly accepted phrase and pick it apart literally in order to act like they're smarter than us. They do the classic, can you do this thing for me? I go, yeah, I'll be there in just a minute. And then they'll go, it's been a minute. Where are you? I'll do it in a second. One.
Damn it. That's just like what Elliot
now
does.
You'll do it? Yeah, I don't like it when it's done to me. Yeah.
I was the father of the man.
Well, I mean, truly, I'm the father of these future men.
It's a real cats in the cradle situation.
Okay, so
I mean, if Cats in the Cradle was about the son not just ignoring his dad the way he was ignored, but also being annoying about it, like being very irritating about it. Yeah.
Now, here's one of the more baffling jokes in the joke book because it introduces the character of Tarzan, a fully different thing.
Lord Greystoke.
Yeah, a Victorian era character now is known by
let's say Edwardian.
Sure, but around that zone.
I mean, sure, late 19th, early 20th century. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
what's your favorite film version of Tarzan?
Okay.
Probably the Disney one because that rockin' Phil Collins song.
That's fair.
What's that erotic one with Bo Derek in it? Tarzan the Ape Man. That's what it's called. That's not my favorite. I think the Disney one is probably my favorite.
Yeah,
to be
it's
honest.
pretty good.
The animation on that is beautiful. It's not story-wise. It's not sort of up to the par of.
And it's not very funny in the comedy stuff, but it
is.
It does
who's
look
the voice
beautiful.
of the bad guy? The voice of the bad guy is somebody cool. We'll figure
look it up.
Somebody. I mean, the old Tarzan movies have Maureen O'Sullivan in them, who I love from The Thin Man. So
you know what? Tarzan the
reason.
Ape Man is a really good one. That's a good one. And
I'll watch anything with Maureen O'Sullivan in it.
With my horny joke about Bo Derek, is that pre-code nudity or is it just they threw it in?
Oh man, we got Lance
it's
Henriksen.
Like a naked swim
we got
that.
Wayne Knight in the voice talent here. We got Brian Blessed.
Is Brian Blessed the bad guy?
I think he might be.
Or is he one of the elephants?
I can't remember. And Tarzan voiced by Tony Goldwyn. Hell yeah, baby,
Yeah.
from Cuffs.
From Cuffs. That's the main thing I think of when I think of Tony Goldwyn as well.
Did you mention Rosie O'Donnell also?
Scandal?
Or no?
Oh, I didn't mention Rosie O'Donnell. She wasn't even in the top 6 listed cast.
Wow.
I feel like that's erasure.
Yeah, that is.
Starring
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
It's Erasure starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, where they sing. What songs do Erasure sing, Dan?
Wait, the movie Erasure? Oh,
Yeah.
the band Erasure.
Yeah.
That's what the
movie's
movie
called
Erasure is
Eraser, Dan.
about.
I don't know. They did
They
a
shoot railguns.
cover of
at
Take
Yeah, no, the
On
railgun
Me.
is from
alligators.
Eraserhead, the sequel.
Or not Take On Me, sorry. The
Take On Me
cover
was
of-
Aha,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, what's the
the band
ABBA
that's
song
always
I'm thinking
surprising
of?
you.
The thing I love about the movie Eraser is that it's
Take a
supposed
Chance on Me. That's what I was trying to think of.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. The final fight is like we get to watch Arnold Schwarzenegger fight an old James Caan, and I'm like, at no point do I think James Caan's going to win. Like he's
No.
no
And a-
offense.
Like a crocodile, right? Like there's
There's
Yeah, well-
CGI crocodiles. It was
Yeah,
like
he
a
says when he
very
says your
early
luggage and he shoots
CGI
it, yeah.
thing. Yeah. And he does say your luggage. And I laughed my fucking ass off.
So anyway, this is
It would have been more accurate to say your belt and boots.
In all cases, sad because the reptile skin trade is horrible.
so
Oh,
anyway,
terrible.
this is
Yeah, we don't support it, certainly.
this is both a curious inclusion in this dinosaur joke book,
Oh, including
this-
Tarzan. Yeah.
putting Tarzan in here, a character that I guess they're just like, I don't know, anyone who wears a loincloth is the same.
Is I mean, or maybe they're trying to tie the dinosaur joke book into Philip Farmer's Walt Newton series of novels, where he connects all the old characters from pulp novels. Maybe that's it.
Okay.
They want this to be part of it.
Could be. This appears to be a joke being told to a young child by a stegosaur, and this joke turns on the existence of the character Boy in Tarzan.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
it also requires some knowledge of Tarzan.
I mean,
Anyway, here we
if
go.
this is coming out for a kid in the '60s, they probably know some stuff about Tarzan.
Sure. I'm just
Yeah.
again for a
Back
dinosaur
then, they
joke
taught
book.
that in schools.
Yeah.
I find
Tarzan, John Carter of Mars, all that crap.
Yeah.
that was the English curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
Here, have this Doc Savage book. They said as you walked into
This is all you
your
need to know.
PhD. This says, what did Tarzan say to Boy when he saw an old stegosaur coming toward them in the forest? And the answer is, oh boy, there's an old stegosaur coming towards us in the forest. And here, of course, visualization
Ugh.
of Tarzan delivering that clunker.
We don't even get to see the
Boy.
Stegosaurus, do
Or
we?
I guess, yeah.
It's just a picture of Tarzan pointing off panel.
And his monkey pal or chimpanzee, perhaps.
Yeah, Cheetah, the chimpanzee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, this is the kind of thing that all kids at that era would know.
Yeah. So to me,
I mean, do you think Tarzan was just included just so that everyone's like, oh, yeah, Tarzan's in this. I love Tarzan.
Maybe. Yeah, they were like, the
Could be.
dinosaurs aren't enough to get kids in. We better throw famous Tarzan in there.
well, that's far be it from me. I'm sorry. I don't want to besmirch you, Sam Berman, but this one, like, it seems like it's the odd joke out to include this Tarzan joke in here. And perhaps it could be justified if it was the funniest joke in the book, but it is perhaps the weakest. So
Do you think it's
I would say
included-
editorially, this was a mistake.
Do you think it's included to make all the other jokes seem funnier?
That's possible.
That's true. You always got
You put a dud in
like-
there to make the others look like studs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like how at the Daily Show, when we had the one warm-up comic who was mean to the audience, like the show was a lot better because everyone was primed for John to be nice to them.
I mean, that's one of the reasons, too. I mean, it felt like the comic was he would sacrifice a couple members of the audience in order to get the other members of the audience laughing.
And the thing is, if I was in that audience, I 1,000% guarantee he would pick on me. I always get fucking picked on.
You do always get picked on. There's something about you that just draws the ire of comedians. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Like-
Stuart, you're sitting next to me and you're like, there's something about me that always makes me get picked on.
Yeah, there's something about me.
Well, no, Dan, he gets picked on by comedians. You get picked on by everyone else.
I guess that's a fair trade.
Yeah.
So this,
But when you're sitting in a comedy audience, no one touches you. They're like, that guy's had enough. We don't, that would be cool.
yeah, no, they
Yeah,
see
they're-
one of their own.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know what he's hiding under that jacket. Like, it might be a machete, Elliot. Come
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So this is a single pager, but it's a two
Oh, wow.
paneler. So now we're moving into comics
Format is out the
sequential
window at
art.
this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Will Eisner edited this part.
Yeah.
So the first picture, there's a guy, a caveman, talking to a lady caveman.
Okay,
Says,
cave woman.
Sure.
Although if it was a Marvel Comics character, it would be called Lady Caveman,
Lady
sure,
Caveman.
or She Caveman. Yeah,
That would be amazing. Oh. So he goes, I love you, Lulu. Will you marry me? She says, have you seen my father? And he says, yes, but I love you just the same. And in the last panel, he is carrying her by her hair, having knocked her out in classic, and by saying, I don't say classic in quality, I mean it's just an old sexist joke about cavemen.
Yeah.
That
You don't.
would,
It's not something you endorse. The dragging of women by the hair.
well, I mean, certainly not after she has already agreed to marry you.
I don't like the way
otherwise.
you put that. You're leaving a little gray area for it to win someone over by doing that.
And if you're going to be dragging her around by her hair, you got to get closer to the scalp, or else it's going to hurt.
Yeah. No, I'm
I'm
not
just going
adding
to say,
any-
I think the Flophouse podcast is against dragging people around by the
Oh,
hair.
Yeah, we
right,
didn't come
right,
out 100% against that. I wasn't
Yeah.
meaning to leave any gray area. It's just even there's even less motivation for this villain, is what
I
I'm
see.
saying.
And so, what I don't understand the joke.
I love you, Lulu. Will you marry me? Have you seen my father?
Oh, she means like, have you talked to my father about me? And
Yes,
he's saying,
I think
yes, but I love you anyway. Even
this
though
is
your
a
father
double relic
hideously
of an
ugly.
older time because he
I
also
see.
needed to ask for her hand in marriage, even though these are again cave people who
Yeah.
did not have these societal expectations
You
We don't know that.
necessarily.
We don't know that.
We don't
the
know.
reference
We don't
body-
know.
Elliot, did you
Yeah.
ask? Did you ask your wife's father for permission to ask?
I
Post
did,
your
I
wife.
did, but it was more of a show of kind of respect to him. I didn't. If he said no, he said, "What if I say no?" And I said, "Well, we're still going to do it, but it'd be
Yeah.
nice if you
Uh-huh.
said yes."
So long,
Elliot
sucker.
pulls out a switchblade.
Yeah. And then I just dragged her away by the hair. He said no, but I didn't really. My problem here was I didn't get the wrong meaning of the line. When she said, "Have you seen my father?" I assumed it meant the first time, "Have you seen what my father looks like?" Not, "Have you seen my father about the business of asking for my hand in marriage?" So this is
Yeah.
one where unfortunately I was ahead of the joke in a way that hurt the joke, This otherwise perfectly
I mean,
hilarious
Otherwise,
joke.
that's
Yeah.
that's a occupational hazard, Elliot, that you're always ahead of the joke.
That's true.
Then
Yeah.
you find fewer things funny because of it.
That's incredibly true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
we're-
watching something with my sons recently, and a character got hit, and then said, "That's going to leave a mark." And I went on a rant about how hacky that line is, and that they did not understand. They didn't care, didn't understand. Meant
this
nothing
is they're like, this is why I like baseball, Dad.
to me. Yeah, tell me that it's hacky in baseball. Yeah,
I'm
Don't
glad
worry.
that Elliot just gave us a little preview about the movie he's going to recommend on the next full episode.
yeah, it's that one that said
It's Tommy Boy. So this is
Did you say it's Tommy
Actually-
Boy?
Yeah.
I don't know Tommy Boy that familiarly, so I refer to it as Thomas Man.
Oh, sure, yeah.
yeah, you're just confused. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
the famous author.
I guess I'll go
They
see
did a
it.
movie?
This is about when he was a young fellow.
Yes.
Mhm.
Don't worry, we're in the home stretch. I have
Oh,
two more
I wonder
jokes
who
for you.
David Spade plays in this Thomas Mann biopic.
So here we have two cave people down at the bottom of a large tree with a tail coming out of it.
Okay, good. So there is a dinosaur element to this.
There's a
still.
dinosaur hidden within the canopy of this tree. And the one cave person says, "How did that Stegosaurus ever get up into that oak tree?" And then if you turn the page, it goes, "Well, he sat down on an acorn and waited." And I want to show you this.
Okay.
It's kind of philosophical in a way, but I want to show
Yeah.
you this drawing where it seems like there's a lot of like sort of action lines coming.
Yeah, it looks
out
like the
from
acorn
beneath.
is bursting with life.
Yeah, like
underneath
fucking
him.
Paul Pope
Yeah.
did the ink on this one.
Like maybe maybe the acorn was growing into a tree very quickly and it entered the dinosaur from
I
behind.
mean, he's got a look
It's
on his
kind of
face
the-
that's both surprise and delight. So it looks like a look
Yeah.
of pleasure. Yeah.
yeah.
What sort of dino would you say this is?
I mean,
You had
it's got plates on its back. The head is not quite right, and the neck is too long. But it's
got like
they
a-
got the
it's got
plates
like
of a
a beak.
Stegosaurus. Yeah.
Okay, all
I mean,
the marks
it looks
are there.
like it looks like a Stegosaurus with the wrong neck and head was put on it by paleontologists that didn't really know what they were doing. Yeah.
Now, obviously,
It's
this
got
is
like a
meant to-
turtle head.
This is meant to be a joke, but as many in this Dino joke book, there's a pearl of wisdom here, which is, something that seems insurmountable, impossible. You just start small. You sit on that acorn.
Yeah, just like the ant pulling the rubber tree plant, whatever, in the High Hope song. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then, God willing, you'll be stuck in a tree.
You'll have what you finally wanted to be up in a tree where you can only fall and break your long Stegosaurus
But that's the thing.
neck.
That's the thing about ambition, right? Is you put all this effort into chasing a dream only to realize that you're now a prisoner to that very same dream, right, Dan?
Very wise.
When you were like, I want to be a famous podcaster, and now look at you.
Now I'm stuck doing this instead of being out with my family on vacation.
I'm stuck watching bad movies rather than.
I feel like that's a skill issue.
It is a.
What also, they don't show the stores of food that he must have had to put in to not die of starvation while sitting there waiting for that acorn to grow into. I mean, for the beginning of it, probably it was small enough that he could just get off and get on as needed. At a certain point, it got so tall that he couldn't do that easily. But
there's probably a point where like he became such a staple in his local community that maybe like a cult grew up around him, and he was offered sacrifices, or as we call them, little treats throughout the day.
Well, like in that early draft of Horton Hatches the Egg, where they do build a religion around the egg-laying elephant, and they're killing the animals that disagree with the idea of an egg sitting on an elephant sitting on an egg. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that more extreme, grimdark version of Horton here.
Yeah, that was when Dr. Seuss and Cormac McCarthy were working together on the book. Yeah,
man, so fucking twisted.
Yeah.
What's in that egg that he hatched?
All of man's evil.
Yeah. Whoops.
Sort of a Pandora's egg. So this is the final joke, guys. We come to the end of a real journey here. Just as I presume you will when you finish the Power Broker on the Power Broker series.
What are you guys doing? Like a page an episode, 2 pages an episode?
2 pages in an episode, so it's going to be 650 episodes. And we're doing 100 pages an episode.
Wow.
It'll take us a year to get through it. But we should have just done this dinosaur jokes book. We'd have the same philosophical and also ideological discussions about life in a city and how you build it for a human being. But
I feel like you'd get the same caliber of guests, too, because everybody loves fucking dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, yeah. Pete Buttigieg, would you come and talk to us about dinosaur jokes? AOC, you want to talk about dinosaur jokes? Oh, yes, of course.
Steven Spielberg, you made a dino movie. Look, this
Did
is...
he?
He made more than one dino
Always.
movie. Yeah.
They're in the background. That you see them mostly in oil form in the tanks of cars.
Yeah. Then most movies are dino movies if you consider the gasoline
really
inside of machines. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, maybe
technically birds are dinosaurs, so that's a lot of movies that are now. What is it? What's the one where the bird does a double take? When James Bond goes
Moonraker, and it's a triple take.
The triple take. So that's a dinosaur movie. Technically, it's got a bird in it. Yeah.
So, listeners, you know what you got to do. You got to go put that dinosaur tag on every IMDb movie.
Yeah. Yep. Go to your local library, rearrange the DVDs so that they're all the dino
Make
movies.
A sticker with a dinosaur footprint that says D, and then put that on all the movies. Yeah.
Once you've moved everything to the dinosaur section, then it just sort of regains equilibrium and is arranged like it was before.
Well, we said, it's the Everything Museum. So the dinosaur section just becomes the video store.
Also, from the entrance
DVD
to
stands
the library,
for Digital Video Dinosaur. Dinosaur Video Disc.
To the digital dinosaur section, you got to put little stickers on the ground that look like dinosaur footprints with sign that says, "Kids, walk this way to get to your dinosaur videos."
Yeah.
Sure, you just passed right by the phrase digital dinosaur, which I think
which should be a band, right?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Or like an amazing like early CGI movie, like a Virtuosity style.
Oh, a dinosaur came out of the video game into real life.
Oh man, like that should have been Brain Scan 2, right?
Yeah, sure. Brain Scan 2, they're dinosaurs now.
No, Trickster's a dinosaur.
So what we have here.
Trickster. Yeah.
In this drawing is there's 2 cave people up in the top of a tree. They've
where the Stegosaurus was before. Is it the same tree or a different tree?
No, this one's sort of this looks like kind of a early palm tree, maybe.
Okay.
They have lowered a noose down.
Ooh, don't like that.
Well, it's not like a hanging noose.
Part.
It's a catching noose.
Oh, so it's more of a lasso.
A lasso, let's call it that. And and there's footprints in front of the tree, and it says, "How do you catch?"
They say this way to the digital dinos.
So you get those kids in there.
How do you catch a brontosaurus? And if you turn the page, the answer comes back: hide in the grass and make a noise like a vegetable. So,
but they're in a tree, you said.
Well, I think you can see here. There's the tree.
Yeah.
And then I think this is their compatriot down on the ground.
Oh, I see.
Who is trying to lure the dino by with his vegetable calls.
And I'll say that it's a commendable attempt to draw somebody hiding in the high grass.
Mm-hmm.
Does it necessitate an entire page? Probably not.
Yeah. It's also a commendable, attempt to inform the reader about the vegetarian nature of the brontosaur.
True. Yeah. Accurate.
Brontosaurus. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
So that was our mini, and obviously it should be the very first episode of the show you recommend to anyone.
Now, when Dan texted us ahead of time and said this mini is it gets a new level of dumb.
Yeah.
Or whatever, however you put it. I said there's no way. There's no way. We've done so many dumb episodes before. It can't get any dumber.
Yeah, exit interview. How do you think I did on the level? Like, do you think
Dan, in terms of non-essential non-essential audio to listen to, you have somehow topped the episode where you took us through descriptions of different Enormous Johnson T-shirts.
Yeah, that's true. What about that PowerPoint presentation that was about mustards of the universe?
that was also incredibly inessential and dumb. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the secret sauce I bring to the show. No, but for
D
real,
for dumb is also D for Dan.
If this is a thing that you like, you're not going to get it anywhere else. So do what you can to support
no,
us.
there are laws against it.
Become a member.
Where else are you going to see in-depth analysis of 1960s dinosaur joke books, but on this movie podcast, The Flophouse?
This is why, look, our National Endowment for the Arts funding got cut. We need you to support nonsense like this.
I called up the MacArthur Genius Grant people, and they laughed at me. I couldn't even finish getting the name of the podcast out.
But that's...
I mean, we are a comedy show. If they're laughing, we're doing something right. You know?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And that is the show.
This wasn't just the warm-up?
No. Yeah, this was the intro. This was a long Garfield-style intro to our
we're not just talking about birthday buddies
We're going to be talking about the Muppets. No, we're signing off.
That'd be so funny. Like, now after we've had that 1 hour warm-up of talking about dinosaur jokes, it's time to talk about, guys, what do you think happens when we die?
What's
love? It becomes a very serious conversation.
We're on the Maximum Fun Network, as I mentioned. If you're a member, you support us. We speaking of membership, we will have those BoCo episodes out soon. We did record a Joysticks episode. That'll be the first of those. It will be out on the feed very soon. Perhaps by the time this actually makes air, who knows? But that's going on. And I want to thank our producer, Alex Smith, who will be putting together that bonus feed content. He does great work for us on the main, on the bonus. He does the little videos that you see on Instagram. If you don't follow us on Instagram, you should follow us because there's little videos of us. Maybe you can see the actual visuals that go along with some of this if you go to that and become a follower there on Instagram. But that's enough end of the show rambling. I've been Dan McCoy.
I'm Stuart Wellington. Whoa, I
rambled
distracted.
So long that Stuart got lost in his
I got bonked on the head by a dinosaur coconut.
And I'm Elliot Kalin, or as they call me in dinosaur times, Elliot Kalin.
Bye.
They don't really call me
what
that,
about
Dan.
the
There's no people
apocalypse?
back then.
Wasn't Elliot talking about
Oh, yeah, the wasteland.
They call me that in both places. Both times, yeah.
Maximum Fun,
a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows.
supported
directly
by you.